I'm SojournONE, Francisco McCullough, and I'm here with James today. You invited me over so we could talk about the CD for a little bit and the art that went behind it.
Yeah, this is for the Far Out podcast, and for those of you who don't know or haven't listened to the podcast before, Francisco SojournONE, he's a former guest and he's been a longtime friend of mine, and we make music together under the name Tugo, but he also does music by himself, again under the name of SojournONE. He's released a couple of albums, and we're going to talk about his first album being called Constellations, and alongside it, existing in the standard music form, you also have art that accompanies it as well, and we're going to talk about said art. And I have a physical, visual representation of that art. I'm looking at it now via this little booklet you gave me, and we're going to go track by track here. And I'm looking at the first...
Wait, hang on. Before you even jump into that,
Okay.
I want to talk about the CD.
Oh yeah, please do.
So when we actually started putting the music together, and I decided that we need to have a physical copy. I remember I was doing some spray painting stuff, and you got me spray paint.
That's right.
Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. Now I'm flashing back to it. I remember walking in the store getting you paint.
So you got me a black, a blue, and then a purple. They were dark colors, which I thought they were really cool. And they had they were flake paint. They had silver pieces in them.
Yeah.
I wanted to do a limited release of those specific, with the use of those paints. So I went out to the store and I bought that. It's a jewel case. It's the thin ones. And I think I maybe made 10 or 20 of them when I just laid them out in the dirt. And then I took those paints that you gave me and sprayed over them to give it that kind of I was going for a galaxy effect, but when it dried, it wasn't the greatest.
No, I like it. I consider this to be kind of a first gen release of the album, because you're right. You have an updated cover as well, which is the same as the booklet. And there will be pictures up for the video of this podcast as well. But yes, this one in particular, this kind of glue, this kind of black, blue, sparkly bluish colored type thing. I like it. I think it looks cool. It looks sleek. It looks mysterious. Yeah. So yeah, I like it a lot.
It's cool. So you want to talk about the cover first?
Yeah. So yeah, talk me through the cover here. I'll get that over to you.
So the cover here. Okay. So as you know, and we can argue about it later.
Yeah.
As you know, I made all of the art for the first album with AI, and it was more of a need basis, because I was sitting on the music and I was like, I got to do something. I had this idea, I got to put art to it. It's got to be a thing. And I didn't have any artists, which, is still a problem.
Still a problem.
But I did have access to the AI, which was very convenient. And, it was cool. It worked out for this project, and I hope not to use it so much in the future. But all of the images inside the book are AI generated, and they took a long time, as I mentioned in the previous episode,
right.
To produce each, because you tell it one thing and it spits out something, and then you want it to do something else.
Yep.
And then it's just a big,
Yeah.
cat and mouse.
Yep.
The cover though was actually one of like maybe 3, and I'll send you the other versions.
Okay.
I had the idea was for it to be looking out the window, and like I wanted the constellations and then the planet underneath it.
Yep.
It's supposed to be Earth because, it's not, I guess not, this one isn't supposed to be Earth, but it's supposed to be a planet. And I mean, there's like some like weird technology pieces in here. There's like a computer and something that looks like a phone in there. And I don't know. I thought it looked really cool. And you had mentioned it was pretty reminiscent of like a TIE fighter.
Yeah.
Like window. And I think that's kind of why I was lenient towards this one too. But we had, after like the whole project was done and like weeks after, and I told you about this as well, it was sitting in the pocket, like the door pocket.
Yep.
On the passenger seat of my car. And I pulled it out because I like to look at my art every now and then just to like relive it.
Take pride.
And I was counting the rails around the ring, and there should be 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 12. Which is the same as like on my tattoo. I have the circle of fifths.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of a funny coincidence.
That's just a happy accident?
Yeah. So I didn't even, like I said, like when I saw the image, I was like, this is really cool.
Yeah.
And then I ended up using it. And then when I was looking at it, when I pulled it out from the door, I was like, huh.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, that's kind of cool.
Very cool.
That first song. What is the first song on there?
First one's called Missed Message.
Okay, yeah. So the images on that one is everything I put together here was from, gosh, it was like Comica or something, some free app.
Yeah.
On my phone where you could like template maybe 15 different ways to like lay out your images. Mm-hmm. So I was really restricted. That's the other reason I really want an artist, is because if you give someone an idea, they are able to do, whatever.
Right.
And they can format it however. But being stuck with this template, that first page was kind of like stuck out to me. I had those 3 images, and they actually came from different sources because I was playing with different AIs at the time.
Okay.
So that one that's up in the top left I don't even know what it was from, but it was from a different AI from the rest of the things. But when I saw it, I thought it was really cool.
Right.
And I think it's like a shooting star or something that's flying
that's what it looks
through
like.
an atmosphere. Yeah, and there's a planet back there.
Mm-hmm.
And then down in that lower panel, it says missed message, which was so hard to get like the AI to do it what I wanted to, because
Sure.
For whatever reason, AI just doesn't know how to spell anything.
Oh, yeah.
How to make letters. I don't know. What's your experience, or have you like tried to generate images with AI?
Yeah, so like for myself, like, and if you've listened over the course of the podcast and even in the last episode we did together, you'll know that I'm kind of wary of AI. I very much like the homegrown kind of organic feel of just people doing it themselves. But when I have used AI to make stuff, even when we were working on our To Go album art, like that, the bedrock of that began via AI images. And that was difficult just because I wanted a skeleton hand holding, a thing of cards, and it wouldn't do it. Like, it would either give me just the cards or just the hand, or there'd be a hand with too many fingers, or it'd have too many cards. And so in the actual finished product of Two of Hearts, those are 2 separate elements put together. The cards are a separate element, and the hand is, and they're not technically holding the cards. They're just aligned just so that to the naked eye, it looks like the hand is naturally holding the cards.
So did you put those 2 assets together?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They both came from AI, but they wouldn't go together naturally in the program. I had to do that. That was where the human element came in. So you're right, though. For AI spelling, forget about it. But if you want to have at least in my history with it, if you want to have multiple objects, it also struggled as well. And I was using some free program as well. So AI is absolutely a useful tool because it can build bridges where they aren't always accessible, but it does have limitations. But your stuff here, like, this stuff looks amazing. I'm not just saying that because you're my friend, but like, if you hadn't told me this was AI, I don't know if I would have picked up on it that it is. It looks phenomenal. The rendering on this is amazing.
Yeah, it was a lot of like hard I went the cheap route. But had I gone with something that was like, actually better manufactured, I think we would have had a better result, which I might do in the future. And then what's at the bottom? There's the guy in the ship. Yeah. So it's kind of funny because like looking at the 2 pages side by side, he's wearing like this navy blue in the second track, and he's wearing like,
Oh, the white.
yeah, the white in the left.
I hadn't noticed that till you just said it right now, and I've had this copy of your album in my possession for a long time. But so I also want to talk about this too. Maybe this is just a formatting thing, but like the actual art, the way it's presented in the booklet here, these look like comic book cells.
Yeah.
With the way that they're divided. Was there any reason as to why that is, or why some are bigger versus smaller? Anything like that?
So yeah, the goal was to make it comic book-esque, but again, my limitations were on my app, and then what the art I could produce, and then how. And the other thing was the actual physical what you're holding. Like I had to get it in a 120 millimeter, whatever like a CD case is. So I had to figure out how to get square images to fit. I had to get everything to fit into a square frame. So I made all of these images, and of course you get different ratios. So then I had to like crop them down into a different size into the template that I could use in the comic generator.
Yeah.
And then crop that down into the square that would fit the actual CD case.
Okay. Well, I like.
So yeah, it was intentional, but it was a lot of doing backflips to try to get things to fit. But yeah, that page was really cool because I remember when I made that one, there's more to the image that you just can't see. But when I had picked that one, I wanted that tallness. It's really cool. You can see the ship from ceiling to floor and then the planet in the back.
What made you want to even have art as a part of this project in the first place?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Gosh, what was it? What were we doing? I think somewhere along the way when Constellations was being produced, I wanted another layer to the story. Like I wanted because the music was one thing, but then I wanted like probably when I decided to make a physical copy, I think I was like, okay, well, let's do some form of art attached to it. And now that I'm thinking about it, there was my fiance Graceland, she got me this. It was a comic book of like songs. So there was like some Mac Miller songs because I like Mac Miller.
Rest in peace, Mac Miller.
Yeah. And there was a comic book of like the music video, which wasn't very novel, but like I think that's probably kind of where I pulled some inspiration too from, because like when I'd seen it, I was like, wow, this is like the art style is really cool because it was all hand drawn by this guy, but it wasn't novel in the sense that like it wasn't his own creation. I guess it was his own interpretation of something that was already created.
Yeah.
So that's probably also where I came up with this. I don't know which happened first.
Yeah.
But.
Well, I think also like just getting to know you and speaking to you about your creative process, like as you kind of alluded to, like I think this kind of transcended the medium for you of just being song related, because you're also like you're telling a story, like you have a whole narrative weaving through your projects, and like we both really like and appreciate Logic, and that guy has a whole narrative going beyond just the raps. Like everything sounds cool, and it's cool to bump his music and to headbang to it, but then also like if you actually take the time to like listen deeply, you'll know that he's weaving a web, and you yourself are doing that as well, and the art is just it's a visual component of that, I feel.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to be like a big treasure hunt. Like, I mean, I think it's really fun for it. Like, if you hear the music, if you're willing to even venture out to listen to the music, and then like if you're like, oh, okay, this is interesting. Like, you might click on the Instagram where you'll see all of the attached art to each song. Yeah. So I think it's kind of like it kind of rewards that adventure spirit.
No, it does. Like for the fans that are like really passionate about it, like there's. Like for myself, I love diving in deep to things. Like 21 Pilots is my favorite band. But like to me that goes beyond music, that goes beyond like just their merch, goes beyond like the concerts and stuff. Like I want to be a part of that fandom however I can. And you have these avenues laid out for people who do listen to your stuff. Yeah. So I think that's pretty great.
Yeah, and I would agree with you too with the Logic thing, because like when I had listened, I mean, my first exposure was the Everybody album, and I was playing Risk with my brothers at military school.
Nice.
And he was playing in the background, and then like as I'd fallen more and more into the music, I thought like, I watched the music videos and I was like, whoa, what's going on here?
Yeah, yeah.
And then like if you listen, like there's like little snippets of like outlying story, and then like you just keep kind of like pulling at that thread, and you find yourself like, oh man, there's a whole universe attached to this. So I think that's kind of like what I want to get at with this too.
Yeah, and so with the narrative, with the story that you're trying to weave, like what is the story of Constellations?
It's exactly that. So if you remember, like when we were in the garage, just to go way back, like everything we did was in the garage, like in that back garage.
Yep, I remember.
It was a 2-car garage, and it was cold usually.
Yep.
Except the summer nights, they were pretty nice.
Yeah.
And there was like this shop bench, kind of like
I remember.
table that was drilled into the wall, and we'd lay out our stuff and just, spend hours doing whatever, or we'd slap a steak on the grill and then, do whatever. What was it?
I was saying, like, what is the actual like story that you're trying to tell?
Oh, okay. So yeah, when we were sitting there, I got lost because I just remembering those
Oh
days
man,
was
you're
such
cool.
a good time.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And it's funny, like how far we've come just from there. Like,
Dude, it's nuts. Like, I mean, not to take us on a side tangent, but like even this podcast, like you were among a couple people who are like, you need to do this. Like, you're overdue. You need, like, you say you want to, go into radio and you went to school for this stuff. Like, just do it. And I was like, I don't know. And then finally one day, I just, without any teaser, I just started the Far Out podcast, and then I got a better laptop, better equipment, and now I have guests on. You're a returning guest, and it's like, it is crazy to think about how things go from dreams to concepts to actually doing it to refining it to releasing it, and then now we are able to look back on it with fondness. Like the idea that we could be like, remember when, like that.
Yeah.
That in of itself is cool too, because like I hate when potential goes like wasted.
waste,
yeah. Like do it. Like just make something. But yeah.
Anyway,
yeah, with you.
So we were talking. So anyways, I had this whole collection of songs I had no idea what to do with, and we were traveling. We went to Winnipeg and we went to Minneapolis.
Yep.
And I had started to just build up these songs, which was my goal because I wanted to make music. So I was making, and it had absolutely no story whatsoever.
Right.
So I was telling you, I'm writing. What was it? I'm writing pages, not chapters.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
you said something like that.
something about I'm writing stars, not constellations. And then that's when you were like, do that.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So really there is no story. The story of it is there's as you go through the pages, I mean there's just this guy on his adventure. And then these are just snapshots of his life throughout this adventure. So I guess that's kind of what the story is, but there's really no like dialogue or something that's happening.
Yeah, but it very much is like a photo album type deal for the astronaut and for the people he encounters. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. Again, your music goes beyond just something you can listen, but also look at visually.
Yeah.
And going on to track number 2, this one's titled "By Now."
Yeah.
Break that down a little bit.
So this one is just 2 pages, or it's a 2-cell page. On the left, there's a girl in this like leather jacket, and then on the right, there's like the musician, the SojournONE.
Yep.
And he's got his guitar, and he's like walking through this field. So, I think if I remember correctly, the song was kind of like the first lines are like, "I think you should know by now. I'm sick of feeling down and out," or something. It was supposed to be kind of like a breakup song or something.
Sure.
Some love that didn't go.
Yep.
That it was supposed to. So like there's the image on the left, which I remember I used an old app on my iPad. I have an iPad 2 that I use for doing drums.
Right.
And then there's also this I don't even know what the app is called because it's been out of date for years.
Yeah.
You can like do different things with the picture. So I remember creating this image, importing it into my iPad, and then putting it on that app, and then like doing this thing. So it's kind of like this blurry, and it's it's wavy. You can see like the wind is blowing through her. It's pretty cool. I like it. And then the other like thing about it is like I don't know what I was trying to get it to generate. Probably something in like a leather or whatever.
Yeah.
Which actually is inspired. Like this was the look I was kind of going for when I made that jacket.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. So I wanted
I
something
see it
that was
now.
like kind of like race inspired, and like, and I think at the time I might have gotten my bike, or I might have been working up to get my bike, and I was just having like a really good time with it, and which is a whole different thing, you know. But yeah, so like she's kind of like inspired with that like racer, like motorcycle type of thing.
That's cool.
And then like him on the right is like, again, it's supposed to be more like artistically inspired. Like it's just, there's a lot more color, there's more vibrance, there's more interesting things. And I don't know if you can see it, but on the right of that, in the bottom right corner, it's actually a record player, but it got cut off.
Oh,
So he's like playing like to
okay.
a record player that's on the table.
That's awesome. No, I hadn't noticed that either. And again, I've had this in my possession for years. I've never bothered to look at the details there. That's cool. I like that. All right, then going on to track number 3. This one's called Fire.
Yeah.
This one looks pretty intricate here. You got a couple of cells.
Yeah, that one was my favorite. So that one was, I wrote that song. So all of these songs are written like probably out of order from the actual book or the actual CD was produced. That one I had created when my grandfather had passed away, and one of the biggest things, actually, if you go look at the video, the first like 3 seconds or 10 seconds are him starting up a campfire on their land, which is, that's, everybody loves doing that with their grandparents, you know. So it's really cool. So I didn't know. So when I had created the song, it's very like wavy. It's like this kind of like overcoming like, I don't know, dark sound.
Yeah.
Which was kind of like what I was feeling. Like I was mourning the guy. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I loved him. And I needed something to kind of also depict that like honoring feeling.
Right.
And if you look at it, you know, and they went to church a lot. So I that's part of like my memory of him is like I'd spend summers with them, my grandparents, and we'd like part of the summer we'd go to the YMCA and swim for a while, or we'd play basketball, and then on Sundays we'd go to church.
Yeah.
So that was a big staple in that relationship. And on this page and within the cells, there's actually the story I'm going for here is that there are like these monks or these people that are gathering across these different planets in the galaxy, and they are gathered around a fire, or they're sharing the fire or a sense of remembrance of him. And then on one planet here, we have the actual casket itself, and it's presented in front of a fire.
Gotcha.
And then the bottom right one is cool because there's a guy kneeling. But yeah, I like that they're all gathered around. And that's kind of what we would do in the summers. We just gather around the fire and poke at it with a stick,
Yeah.
make s'mores, you know?
That's awesome. Yeah, I really like this imagery. There's a lot of very interesting details here. You know, even on the tent in the background, there's a cross up there, and
Yeah.
you know, and then the casket, and yeah, it's very cool to see creativity be inspired by the people closest to you, and I think that makes it all that more genuine. Going on now to track number 4. This one's called Corvus.
Corvus, yeah. So that's a whole thing. If you look up the story of the constellation Corvus, but
Well, there's an actual constellation named Corvus.
yeah, some of these are actually, I think, named after constellations. Yeah, Crater is a constellation. Sabik is a constellation.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't. I thought, like, for Crater, for example, I just thought you named it Crater because that's like a thing in space, like an asteroid crater.
Yeah, no, it's a constellation. If I remember correctly. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, break down Corvus for us.
So Corvus is a 4-cell page. This one's actually probably one of my favorites. And not only is it like one of the highest viewed songs in there, I think it's also like one of the more honest ones, because like at the time, like I was trying to like be really honest with the music, and
Yeah.
that one I remember like I had written out the lyrics in my black book. And you remember when I was writing
Yes.
in the black book, and
Yeah.
I'd write in white pen or white ink or whatever.
Which to me was just crazy.
Yeah, you thought I was a maniac.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe this. I've never seen black paper and white ink.
So yeah, I had it written in that book, and then had the book under my glass desk, and then I had my right foot on it, like propping the pages open, and then I had my guitar in my hand, and then I put my iPad or whatever I was recording with on the desk.
Yeah.
So if you listen to the song, you actually hear like some cracks. That's actually like me like rocking in the chair because it's kind of like
Okay.
plasticky or whatever. Anyways, this song, like, so the opening part of it talks about seasons. And if you go listen to it, like you'll hear spring, summer, winter, fall.
Right.
And that's kind of what inspired this, the imagery for it. And I thought I had a lot of fun doing that one because I was like trying to figure out, okay, what could depict summer? What could depict winter? Like for these two people.
Right.
And this is also where I got the inspiration for having him wear this navy blue. Because up in that top right one, he's wearing this really cool, like, blue, and then she's, like, wearing this gold and white.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I see it.
So, yeah, that's actually where the inspiration came from, wearing navy blue, which was originally going to be the main colors of SojournONE.
Okay. And why weren't they?
Things that in real life that changed.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I do like with this art here, I love that you have the space module or whatever module they're in, but it's like overgrown with like flowers and vegetation. But like when you think of like overgrowth, you think of like weeds and roots and stuff, like stuff that like destroys a building. In my opinion, the cell up in the upper left here only enhances it.
Yeah.
So I like that juxtaposition. And then like with this one in particular, yeah, I really like the art of this one. It might be my favorite as well because, like, I also love, like, as you're mentioning, with the two astronauts walking hand in hand, they're going across what looks like a salt landscape, like a desert. Really cool. And then I love the lower left where they're standing amongst, like, a fall or autumn-inspired background. That's my favorite season. So just for
That's cool.
Just for that little detail, I just like that. But then I also like, this sense of exploration you have with like the snow and ice biome going on here as well. Like you cast a wide net with this track and with this art here, and so yeah, I just think it's awesome.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny how the effects of time have on it. So they're actually walking on a beach.
Oh, a beach.
Yeah, because it says, oh gosh, springing flowers under skies of blue or something like that. Like. So that the image that I created for that one was actually them walking on a beach.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, Dune, I mean, that makes more sense.
Interesting. No, I mean, hey, it's your thing, man. Like, go crazy. But yeah, that's cool. That's cool. That works out. Okay, going on to track number 5 here. You have just one cell. It takes up the whole page, so it's very front and center. Can you break down Crater?
Geez, let me see here. I'd actually have to pull up the song to listen to it. Mm-hmm. Should we just edit this part out?
We can do that. And since we're cutting this out, what's with the blue? Like you said, like personal reasons. You were like, I don't want blue.
Black and white's my favorite.
Oh, you made it sound so serious.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you're like, well, you're like blue.
Here, we can put this back in. So navy blue. So I wasn't working at the time that I had created this, or maybe I was. If not, like I was working at a job that I really was not my favorite. I mean, I loved being there, like, and I loved what I did, and I loved the people. But like, I realized, like, I had told myself when I was gonna work there, like, I'm gonna work here until I can learn the most I can learn. Mm-hmm. And then when I got to that point, I had a great time, like teaching like everybody else, and like we had some good groove with a good work of people. But I realized like I want to learn more. I need to branch out.
Right.
So when I had actually stopped working for a while and then picked up working again, my new uniform color was navy blue.
Gotcha.
So I didn't want to have SojournONE in.
Hey, I get it. You need that separation.
Yeah.
I get it. Trust me.
I didn't want Sojourn to be wearing navy blue when I'd have to be wearing navy blue in real life. So if I could bring you back every single page, every single note, everything I wrote, hoping to find the antidote.
Sure.
So diamonds, allotropes. Yeah. So there was So this one, I wanted to create like an image of like Sojourn revisiting a gravesite, and him kind of just getting things off his chest, like that he could, to this person that is now gone.
Right.
They're dead. So he's bringing what he had wrote down that he was going to tell this person to the actual gravesite. And this image was actually really hard to create because I kept on trying to get him to kneel in front of the gravesite, and then I didn't understand what I was looking for. But then it did spit out this image after lots of editing. And then there's like I don't know, it's cool because there's this big cemetery like surrounded behind him, and he's like in this fog. But I think those lines specifically, like if I could bring you back every single page, everything I wrote, like going back to the other job that I was working at. So I was working in long-term care, and like a lot of times, like you're talking to like old people, and like their time isn't very long. They know their time. A lot of them are like, yeah, I understand. I'm gonna die soon.
Yeah.
And they're very accepting of it. And like listening, like I really enjoyed that job. Like it's funny because I walked away from it, but like I really enjoyed because I got a lot of perspective on life, and when I was thinking about like my own relationships with people, like there was times where I was like, dang, like I wish I could have been like, hey man, thanks for being there for me at this time, like, and I just never did, and I just never saw that person again, or like situations where it was the opposite, where like, oh, like I really had a grudge against this person. Well, I should have just let it go.
Sure.
So it's kind of interesting that it came out in this way in the form of artistic expression.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's
where
cool.
that one went.
No, that's cool, and I really like it. I mean, I like the entirety of this project because like space is just cool, and like the classic suits of like they're kind of bulky and they got a lot of stuff on them, a lot of valves, and you have the classic visors. It all looks really cool. But then to set this image, to set an astronaut in such a foreign place to him in a cemetery, it gives off a unique vibe that in of itself paints a picture. And I think it just represents everything you just talked about. Great. So yeah, I think this art's a real home run here. And then going on to track number 6. Sabik, is that how you pronounce it?
Sabik. Yeah. So I remember the recording of this one. That one of the lines is like, sunlight, and then the bells, and then the rain. And I think at the time I was thinking about, I think it spit out the image of the two people walking on the planet first, and when it spit out this like kind of purpley yellow color scheme, I wanted to run with that because at this point I think I was putting the pages together and realizing that there needs to be some kind of like cohesiveness of the page, and then it also needs to kind of like, it needs to be somewhat matching the other side of the book. And in this one, so there's the sunlight coming in through the window, which is like really like purpley, and this yellow light coming through, and then the bells, which was also like, I thought it was pretty genius, just because with the the usually gold.
Yeah.
And having that purple frame behind it. But yeah, I don't know. This one was really cool. Art-wise, I just really like the color, color spectrum of it.
Yeah. No, it's visually, it's very appealing. Yeah, it's a very almost romantic type of color palette you have going on here. Pretty awe-inspiring, and then with the bells, that's a cool visual as well. And then going on to track number 7, Late October. Some pretty interesting art here as well. These feel especially character focused because 2 of the 3 cells here are just portraits of faces. Can you talk about those?
Yeah. I don't remember. So I know the portraits came out first because Late October was originally a poem, and then I had pulled up my guitar and I was like, okay, let's turn this into a song because I need it for the album. I remember the start of it goes, late October came again and wanted more than friends. Mm-hmm. And I think it was like some kind of song regarding like someone wanting more than just friendship, like wanting a relationship. And when I had put in whatever I was putting in to the queue, it spat out this girl with like this like cosmic look about her. Like it's like the makeup is these planets and stuff. It's actually really cool.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I went with it, because after it generated that, I plotted a whole bunch more, and then it spit out the one that's in the bottom. So there's that also the girl with like this planets like in her hair and stars in her eyes. It's really cool. But then the larger image, which is these two people sitting on a bridge, you know, under the stars and stuff, and there's like dragonflies or whatever is going on.
Yep.
So I really like bridges.
Yeah.
And that's just a personal thing. Like like when I had my bike, like I was riding around Mayville and all over town, like looking for bridges. Like it just made like, that was a hobby of mine, just going to see what there was.
Yep.
And I think there's actually quite a few tracks that allude to bridges, but just having that art in there to represent that was included there.
Yeah, it's very cool, and I mean, talking about bridges, like you and I have had long conversations on bridges. We've drank on bridges, like, you know, it's and also, I mean, that's, you know, a bridge can be used to you know, complete two gaps, you know, to bring something together, or it could be used to escape. Like, you know, there's a lot of storytelling just in that motif alone. So that's cool. And then going on to track number 8, this one's called Happy Now, and I really like the art of this one. This looks pretty cool.
Yeah, that one's probably, if this isn't the most viewed, it's it's that Seasons one. Was that Corvus or something? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Corvus. So Happy Now was like and the image of it is like really simple, because it's like this shot of like, it's like a long shot of like a stage, and like there's this crowd in some kind of like, it's supposed to be like a futuristic something themed stadium, and then like the second panel is like a zoom in of like the guy like in the crowd. So that song, also again, like I think I had just quit my job, and talked about like in the first few lines, and I was doing a lot of traveling too. In the first few lines, they just kind of like bring that up, and like, you know, it talks about like, you know, being happy now and like actually like figuring out what that means for yourself.
Right.
And it is more of like the celebratory thing. And when I went on those trips, I took lots of like pictures and videos and whatever, and I just spliced them all together and turned them into this song for like a music video. Mm-hmm. So then that's kind of how the imagery for this one came up. Pretty simple, but
yeah. No, I like,
it's actually a really good time.
I like it a lot. I think it looks really cool. And then going on to track number 9, this one's called Vega, and it's interesting just from the offset. I mean, literally flipping back and forth between the booklet. These are these are polar opposites. You know, one is very lively and colorful, has a lot of energy behind it with Happy Now, and then the second one, Vega, is just, it looks tonally much more darker. The art literally is darker. There's not a lot of color here, and there's kind of a distant feel to it all. And I'm wondering if you could comment on that.
Yeah, so that one, he's standing. Well, so there was this one I tried to paint a little bit better picture. So I was like trying to do like an establishing shot where you can see like there's the ocean and there's this galaxy floating above it, and there's a mountain or a ridge off to the side, and then, you know, he's standing on this beach in front of the ocean, and there's something behind him, and then he's supposed to be like turning around and seeing this woman in the dress. But again, I have to refer back to the actual track itself to understand what I was going for. So yeah, so the first line is, I've seen starry nights, but I miss the moon, like these rolling thoughts. Well, hold up, let me go back. It's funny because I haven't listened to these songs in a long time.
It's okay. I don't remember the lyrics to Ghost stuff.
So I miss you too, like these rolling waves in search of you. Mm-hmm. So like, I think that's kind of where that came up to, because like when I was writing that, I thought, you know, like when you're writing something, you're like, oh, okay, like this is a line.
Yeah.
Like I think that's kind of why I wanted to pick that, and I put it right up in the front. Because like in my mind, like if I'm the rolling waves, like I'm like coming, like it's supposed to depict like this. The water is like, crawling up the land in search of this person. So that's kind of like what I was going for there. But yeah, that's kind of what inspired most of the art there. It's also pretty cool just seeing like how the light works.
Yeah.
Against the night and against.
Yeah,
him.
it's very cool. I really like it. It's very appealing. And I mean the infinite expanse of space with the infinite expanse of the ocean, both can be all consuming. And so yeah, it's nice to see that represented. And then track number 10, the last track on the record, is titled Thank You, and it's another single cell worth of art here. If you could talk about that. Yeah,
so much like the first one, that was like, it was big, lots of importance behind it, just to depict the image. So Thank You Now was just kind of an opportunity for me to thank you, I mean, for one, but thank a lot of the people that just kind of helped me along this path. For a long time I was just kind of kicking this rock down the road, and I was like, well, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this music. Well, I might not do anything with it. So it's just kind of like him standing victoriously, like, having a chance to be like, hey, like, we did it, thank you. Like, I don't know, I guess it's pretty straightforward. If you go listen to the track, it's not so much of a song as it is a message.
Yeah, no, I really like the last track on the project, because like, again, shout out to like Logic, but like he's done that as well. Like he did a track, I think, on Young Sinatra 4 called Last Call, and the first like 2 minutes are just him just talking about his mindset and his mental space, and then it flows into the actual lyricism. It's like a 10-minute long track. And so again, just for you to kind of refer back to that, and like in the track, like like you shout me out, not trying to like humble brag or nothing, but like you shout me out and just say thank you. And like I'm just glad that you persevered in this, like to see this project come to fruition, both in terms of the digital release, track by track on YouTube, and then also to have this physical copy, because I love the fact that I can hold something made by you. Like I think that's really great. And
I really look forward to. I'm glad we went with the physical thing, because like I really look forward to making things in the future that are like you can hold it, because like it's different. Like a lot of times like you can listen to an album that's like streamed or something, but like when you hold it, like there's more to it. Like you can actually have something.
Yeah, it's real, and it's like even if like the internet went down or something, you don't have access to YouTube for that day, like if you still had a physical copy of Constellations, you could still listen to it, despite not having access to YouTube. And so like, there's something very personal, very tangible about holding it and just examining it.
Yeah.
And
in the future, I also plan on adding more to the albums.
Yeah.
So there'll be more like inside the albums.
That's awesome.
Like merch, like I would stash in there.
No, but for a first project, I think you hit a home run. I love it. I love your mindset for all this stuff, whether it's a track by track breakdown or album breakdown or an overview of everything else you're working on. Like I love the way your mind works and how you analyze these creative endeavors. And I can personally see your passion for everything on full display when I'm either looking at the album or the art, or I'm listening to it as well. And so, I just think the sky's the limit with your stuff. And
Yeah.
Okay. Well, unless there's anything else then that you want to talk about, I appreciate the breakdown of Constellations, and I appreciate you coming back to the podcast the last time you were here, and I'll drop a link down to that episode below, as well as your other socials as well. But the last time you were here, we had a great conversation, and your episode popped 100 views, which doesn't happen too often for the Far Out podcast. It's still in its infancy, but the kids love you. Whatever you're selling, they're buying. So.
I think it's the dynamic, because we've known each other for a while.
Oh,
and the energy that when we're like projecting stuff, so it works.
Okay. Well, sure. But just keep going, man. I love everything that you've done, and all the teases that you've given me just personally about what you're working on too. So I look forward to the next project. But again, if you want to further dive into Sojourn One's stuff, There will be links down in the description below. If you want a different brand of his creative, identity, check out the stuff by Tugo, which can be found on the Far Out Podcast channel as well. But just keep creating. And do you want to give just any final words to any future creatives out there? Anyone listening who thinks, I wish I could do that too?
Yeah, I mean, just always keep looking at what makes you happy. If creating makes you happy, do that, and then find what inspires you, and just if you have the two things together, you can make it. That's everything.
Yep. All right. So just get to making. All right. Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.